anybody booked in today. Well, I did, but they cancelled. So thought I would jump on here and do a little live stream Q&A session. I got myself tattooed in the back. So we might talk about the new techniques and stuff. A lot of people have told me that my work's improved since doing all these podcasts. And yeah, I definitely feel like I've hit a new level in my work in a sense where it's I've definitely taken things on board from these podcasts and applied them into my my work. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, because I'm free for who knows however long. So if you wanted to ask questions that you've asked on the live streams or stuff like that. What's going on? Take yo meds. Angel Nikolov, what's going on, mate? But yeah, like as I was saying, I've definitely taken some advices off of people since I've been doing these podcasts. You know, David Vega and Lil B and Thomas. Please smash a like on the video, guys, as well. So this is the live stream I did last, and a lot of people were noticing some techniques, and one of the main techniques I've used is I've used smaller mags with my work. That's one of the main techniques that I've taken from that David Vega podcast, especially when he told us about loco tattoos. I'll check it out on my Instagram, mate. One of the advices I did take was to use smaller mags, and he go, did you get some new techniques? How you achieve? Yeah, I this is what I'm saying now. So yeah, smaller, because I was using, like, the way I used to work was I used to sort of pick the size of the mag for the size of the area I was doing, and that isn't especially the wrong thing to do, but to achieve, what's going on, Ink Boy? It was, yeah, I think it just allowed me to sort of get because using smaller mags forces you to slow your hand speed down and make sure every stroke counts. That's what she said. I'm gonna sip my coffee. And yeah, it's too early for that here. It's too early for those jokes. Please smash a like on the video, guys. There's 50 people watching. And yeah, so smaller mags definitely help force you to control your hand and think about every stroke. So immature, man. So immature. Let's have a look. Nate Lewis says, just got out of work, like just now. I wrote you yesterday about it. Yeah, man. Well, it's good. It's good news coming up. So, what's your advice on smooth blends, like transitioning from lighter to dark? I feel like it's hard to explain, but when you tattoo, you kind of like, I kind of make sure I start with the darks first. I start with the shapes, exactly how David says in his podcast. It's exactly how I do mine. And the stencil phase is a massive thing. It's massively important for your tattoo that you're going to be doing. So I think the stencil phase is probably one of the most important parts of the tattoo, because if you haven't got a good stencil, like I've been saying for years, you just won't, the tattoo won't turn out to be that good. But it shapes. It's so, say if it's like see if we can do here. So like you can see in this part here, you can see it's a bit more darker. It's super zoomed in for me. It's a bit darker here, so I've like whipped it out, you know. And then you kind of on the darker part of the blend, you want to make sure you leave a tail, so you can go back into that tail with the medium tone, and then just layer it up. And then obviously with the to finish it off, you just want to use a smaller blend, like a lighter tone then to finish it off. Thank you for liking the video, guys. I appreciate you. How many ink cups do you have when shading? So this is my setup. I use dynamic ink, and I use a full cup of triple black. Then I'll go into another cup next to that with normal. So I use 1 cup of black. So it's just triple black dynamic, and then my 5 cups next to that. So I've got 6 cups. 5 cups next to the triple black is my shading. So I use normal dynamic black, not the triple black. Normal dynamic black, and it's a half full cup. Then I go down to a 12 drops, 6 drops, 3 drops, 1 drop. And then depending on how tan the client is, depending on how dark the client's skin is, I'll adjust the drops to suit. What technique do you use for layering? Exactly what I'm doing here. I mean, this is packing blacking now, but it's the same thing. It's the same technique for everything. So I'll kind of just use the pendulum motion. Probably for layering is the best thing to do, to use. This is another new technique I've been using as well. So say where it's like a small line, I've been doing what David Vega told us to do in the podcast, and just bouncing the machine, the mag. I don't tend to use liners or don't tend to use liners or round shaders anymore for lining stuff like this, like I would do. But it's like he just told me to bounce. Here you go, I'm doing it again. Bounce the mag just so it's a bit softer. Sorry, let me just go through your comments. I'll try and keep up with this as much as possible. I've been a bit run down, so I've got cold sores all over my lip. It's horrible. Angel Nikolov says, can you give me some tips on how to grow on social media and gain clientele for a starting artist after 2 years of fakes? I think your work will speak for itself. I think just creating as much content as possible. That's something I lack in, to be honest. I don't create enough content. I just feel like if my life is revolved around, I mean, I've been in this game for nearly 10 years, and I feel like there's a balance now. I feel like I had way more hunger. Well, not hunger, I suppose, but I had way more motivation, not motivation, determination to get somewhere in this game, and it consumed my whole life. Family got pissed off. Girlfriends were breaking up with me, and I was breaking up with them because I just couldn't be asked for relationships. I just wanted to spend all my time basically to this craft, and I just dedicate. I lived, breathed, and sleeped it. Do you know what I mean? Slept it. Is that slept or sleep? I don't know. But yeah, I it was literally my life, and I feel like now it's something I lack, because I'm kind of at like a content stage where I'm just fine tuning a lot of my stuff that I need to fine tune, and I've still got that balance there in my life. But I think content is a massive thing you need to be focusing on if you want to build clientele. But again, your work's going to speak for itself. So if you've got good fake skin work, then that should speak for itself. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look at some others. If you want your question reading out, send me a super chat, because it's hard to see a lot of these. Oh, Bishop cartridges are nice, man. I don't like the round line. I hate round liners in anything other than quadrant, because there's just so much vibration. So much vibration in everything I've used apart from quadrants. I think quadrant cartridges are just the best in the world. You just can't get better than quadrants. But the mags and stuff, you know, it's neither here nor there. But the one thing I do have to say about the Quadrant carts with their new Sublime range is because you've in every cartridge make, you've got like that gap between the cart and the needle, and it will vibrate a lot. But the Sublime range just is so precise, I can't even explain. You just have to try it. What layering what technique do you use for layering? That was Sartet, because I see you improve so much. I'm just using the David Vega advice, man. Like a lot of my layering stuff now is what David Vega told me. So I'm using, this is what I was saying in the beginning of the video, the number one thing that I've changed in my work, which is why I wanted to do this video this morning as well, because I wanted to keep you all updated, because I've been getting a lot of messages, to be fair, on my Instagram and stuff like that, about how my work's improved since the David Vega podcast, and it's because I've taken a lot of what he's said on board, and I feel like that was the missing piece that I needed to be able to take the next step in my career. And I'm always learning. I'm constantly learning. I've been doing this for nearly 10 years, and I'm still learning. I just want to be one of the best names ever. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of what I've done, the main thing I've done is I've used a 7 curve mag. This is what I'm using here. 7 curve mag is what I'm using now. You've got way more freedom with it. The ink tends to go in better first time pass because it's a smaller needle. It's less surface area to punch the skin. You don't need pressure. It's just a way better it's just a better needle for achieving what I wanted to achieve. But it also, because it's a smaller mag, you have to be super consistent with your polarized lens and editing. I don't tend to use, I have done in the past on a couple, but I don't tend to use polarized lens with stuff like that. I literally use my iPhone to take pictures. That's it. And I feel like if I was to do what most people that are huge in the industry do, say no names, they edit their pictures like fuck. I think I'd be a lot bigger than I am now, because I think my work would look fucking 10 times better than what it already does if I was to do those things. But I just use my iPhone, that's it, and just make sure there's no glare from lights around, make sure it's all nice and washed down and dried, and then yeah, just try and take a picture before it then starts to plasma out again. That's literally all I do. Do you work with 9 volts? I work with around 8.5, yeah, at the minute. I've been using a lot more of the Bishop machine, which is another thing people have been on at me about. Like, for some reason, I'm not too sure why I can't use a specific machine. The thing about ACUS is, one of the main things that I wanted to, when they approached me, to try their machines and stuff like that, and I wanted to work with them, because when I tried it I was shocked, like, you know. And one of the things that I really loved about ACUS as a company is that they wanted me to use other machines to give them feedback, to make sure, you know, because not every machine's going to be the same. Not every situation's going to be the same in tattooing either. So when you say, for instance, my client's skin, because I've been using Bishops for years, I've only been using the ACUS for 4 or 5 months. I know what voltage to do on what kind of redness of skin. I know how to give that skin the best chance of healing with the Bishop. And when I tattooed, I started with the ACUS the other day, and then I was like, well, I was messing around with the settings and stuff, and I just couldn't get it to keep the redness off. And it's because I don't know enough about the machine in terms of different situations. Whereas the Bishop, I knew to lower my volts because it's kind of set. Because there's so many settings on the ACUS, although it's very, very easy to use, I just couldn't get it dialed in to how I wanted it to with my previous situations that I've been in before. So that's why I've been using the Bishop. I had a 2-day sitting in one day, and then I had another day sitting in, so I've used it 3 times in the last week. I think this is one of the times as well. I'm not sure, I can't remember if I used the Bishop on this one. This is a very good example of what I just did. So to line that part, I was literally doing this with the needle and then turning it. This is the drag back. I'm dragging this back. Just making a soft blend. But yeah, a lot of what I've done is just change to, because David Vega said in his podcast was, I use a 7-round mag for nearly everything. Like 85 to 90% of every single tattoo he does is to use a 7-round mag, and that's what I use. Please smash a thumbs up on this video, guys. There's 60 people watching, 28 thumbs up. Also subscribe. I went on my analytics the other day, first time in years, and 85% of people are watching my videos and they're not subscribed. Please subscribe. I will love you forever. And to be fair, when I get to 200,000 subscribers, which is, we're way off yet, but 200,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a massive giveaway. And there's going to be 5 winners on that. So just give people a chance of winning. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so that Vagabond question, could you talk about posting work without manipulation and photos and stuff like that? I've addressed that. The only thing I do is probably take the saturation down a tiny bit just to relieve some redness in Instagram, but that's literally it. Do you try the 7-round shaders like Thomas Carlier, 7 soft edge, the smallest needle? Yeah, so I use a 7 soft edge mag now from Quadrant, which is what I'm using in this video behind me. And 3-round shaders, I don't tend to use those. I'll use a 7-round shader. 7-round shader I'll use. Dennis Bush says, how's it doing, brother? Been watching 3 years. Just want to give you, thank you, man. Thank you for your comment there, bro. Loco Tattoo says, I tattooed in prison for 18 years straight, and I wish we can talk about it because I mastered it in here, and it's hard to just adjust out here in Cali. Do you find it harder to get smooth blends with smaller mags? This is from Youngie74. I know I do personally. Yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier. I feel like in tighter spaces it's way easier. But say on like say if I'm doing a portrait and I've got a big blended smooth area like a cheek where like it comes from dark to light and then maybe to medium up here, I would probably go up to an 11 curve mag or a 15 max. I wouldn't go above a 15 now in everything I do. And I was using 25 mags before. This is it here, look. Just, I don't know, I don't really know. It just feels easier to use, but every stroke counts, that's what she said. And that's what he said. So we're not, you know. Just consistency really, and just moving your hand in a consistent way will definitely make sure you've got that whole area the same saturation, instead of just, and making sure, like David Vega was saying as well, which is another thing I've taken on board, is when you're tattooing something like a rat, say it's like an arm, right? You've got an arm and your mag, you need to make sure this mag is like straight to wherever the spot is you're doing, and it's not off a bit, because you're gonna, if it's to the side, you're gonna, this side of the needle is gonna be way darker than this side because it's tilted. You need to make sure it's like straight on everything you do, you know what I mean? It's really hard to explain, but that's another thing I took into account. What black ink do you use? I use dynamic black. Any tips on smooth shading in small gaps? Just use a 7 curve mag. This is all super small, this stuff. So that's what I've been doing there, really. It's going to be hard. His skin's going a bit red now. I think this is a 7 shade. I think this is a 7 shader. What's going on, Small Gok? Member. Big ups from I can't pronounce that. Shannon Gibbs. I'm sorry, but New Zealand. Big up New Zealand. Cheers, Oliver. Is it always a 0.30? Yes, mate. 0.30 for everything. 7-round shader though is I can't remember if it's a 0.30 or it's a standard gauge 0.35, because I'm not sure if they do the 7-round shaders in the bug pin size. How many passes do you do before you achieve your tone? I try and keep it under like 8, maybe 5 passes. Obviously, the more passes you do, you're traumatizing the skin more. So, tattooing, you want to try and achieve what you want to achieve in as less passes as possible. But obviously, with techniques like David says, dragging back, just using the backward drag is way better on the skin, so you got more passes there. And just not going too deep as well. Going too deep can definitely fuck the deeper layers up for sure, 100%, which isn't very good. It's going to get inflamed red quickly, and obviously when you're working with lighter tones, you're going to find it a lot more harder to achieve the tone you want to achieve. But that just takes practice and patience. And yeah, I suppose what's the word I'm looking for? Experience, to know when it's in the skin. Christian Ray says, when you stretch the skin, do you tend to hold the skin in place or actually stretch? I used to stretch a lot until it stopped stretching, but now I don't tend to do that anymore, just to relieve the redness, like David Vega was. I know I'm quoting David, but you've seen my work since the David Vega podcast. It's definitely changed, and it's a mixture of all these things he's said, which is available to you. You can go and watch this back. And it's a mixture of all these things that he said has just made my work, just taken that next step into making my work next level, I think. And it's if it's helped me, it's going to help you. So go and watch it. It's on the channel, David Vega podcast, the incredible podcast. And yes, all these things that have definitely helped me. But yeah, when I stretch, I used to stretch the skin where it didn't stretch anymore. I mean, the arms are pretty stretched anyway, but if I was stretching, I'd stretch until I can't stretch it anymore. But now I tend to just hold it in place. I tend to just like push my fingers down and just hold it in place. I don't tend to stretch too much. Obviously around like elbows and difficult areas like that. I mean, my elbows are pretty stretched anyway, because I've got quite tight skin, but yeah, you just want to make sure like that the area is stretched enough so the needle doesn't snag. But yeah, Rourke says, this is a good one. What do you do for healing? I was going to use second skin or dermalize, but to be fair, I just allow my work to heal without any of that. Yeah. So I used to think, oh yeah, like all these second skins and dermalize pro and stuff like that. I feel like on small tattoos it works. On like palm sized tattoos it works, but on big pieces you're just not gonna, you know, on pieces like I do, like whole forearm pieces or up here or places like that, you're just not gonna, it's not gonna be good, because one, people don't take it off when they're supposed to take off. You're not supposed to leave it on for days on end, max like 24 hours. It's literally just while that open, when it's freshly done, it's open, so it's an open wound, so you want to make sure you keep it dry. You need to dry it out. It's the traveling, people fly in for me to get tattooed by me, which is amazing. So it's, I would probably put Dermalized Pro on their arm if they're traveling back to America, or if they're traveling back to Germany or somewhere like that, where it's going to be like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 8 hours. I'd probably put it on for that. But normally I would just wrap it with cling film, and tell them to leave it wrapped for like 2-3 hours, then take it off, warm soapy wash, let it air dry, let it dry out. Don't put nothing on it, no creams, don't rewrap it, don't submerge it under the bath, just take showers. Don't go and get a sunbed, don't go and get a spray tan, just leave it. Obviously shower is normal, get up the next morning, or if you want to shower the morning before, or if you do both, shower it as normal and just leave it to air dry. And once it's closed up, like once it's starting to go through that itchy stage, then I tell people to put on like a really thin layer of cocoa butter, like once a day, like for a couple of weeks. Like whenever it itches, I just say, instead of itching it, just apply some cream. But that's it. But like, try not to do it more than twice a day, because you want the skin to breathe. You want it to, the body's so good at healing itself. It's very, the body's like a miracle thing. It's so good to heal itself. Just leave it to do its own thing. It regenerates cells ridiculously fast if you're healthy. Yeah, I mean, I've let my tattoos dry heal. I forget to put cream on it, and if the tattooist has done a good job, your tattoos are going to be fine. I used to apply it to my work. I only do full days too, so big work, people would get home and panic about it bleeding underneath. Yeah, and like the thing is as well, say if you're, I don't know, you're washing your hands or something and the film comes down here and they're keeping it on, water will get underneath that. And it's a massive risk of infection, because one, it's just like there's like stagnant water still in the wrap underneath your wrist. And it's sitting there for hours, and it's not good. It's not good. I really feel like on places where it's big areas with like a small tattoo, like I would never put it over like bumpy areas like hands or knuckles or anywhere like that. Like maybe like a thigh piece where it's a big area where you can make sure it's, all the sides stay down, and one of the side doesn't come up and lets water in. I think it's a risk, to be honest. I think it's a risk of infection. I've got such an itchy nose today. But yeah, I just wouldn't use it. I just use cling film and just do it the way I just said, just let it dry out. Melly Mel says, do you slow your machine down when shading? No, I don't. I use my machine at the same volt. Please smash that like button, guys. Yeah, I use my machine at the same volt throughout the whole tattoo. I won't touch the voltage range. Once it's set up, it's set up. I'll just adjust my hand speed and my hand techniques for what I want to do and achieve within the piece I'm doing. But yeah, I don't tend to mess around with the volts at all. Small Gok says, apparently members of this channel have above average girth. Apparently so, man. Apparently so. Sure. Right, so let's have a look. Loco Tattoo says, is it a big difference from 7 mag to a 9 mag? Because I've been using 9 mags. To be honest, there is. I mean, it's not massive difference, but there is a big difference. I just feel like 7 mags are definitely in that sweet spot for me. I used to use them a lot, to be fair, but I just didn't know how to use them. I was just using them for very small areas, like I said during the beginning of this, what's going on, Radislaw, another member. Amak says you're a hero for the beginner artist. No worries, man. Do you know why I do this channel as well? And I talk about things like opening. I have done for what, 6 years now. It's because I never had any help. I never had any help. I was on my own. I had to learn the craft on my own. I was watching Lil B's videos. I was watching Eric Messinazin's videos. You know, there's very little content out there, and this is why I wanted to do it, because I got shit over 3 times. I got shit on 3 times, and I know how hard it is to make it in the industry. And I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to give everything away. I went across to the Scandinavian countries. I started learning from very good people quite early on. Within a year, I was tattooing. Within the year I was tattooing, I was about 9 to 10 months. Havaro, big shout out to you if you ever watch this. He's the owner of Iron and Ink he's got loads of studios. He's got one in LA, he's got one in Stockholm, he's got one in Vejle, in Denmark, and loads of other places around the world. And he gave me an opportunity to learn from very good people. The way he runs his studios are extremely efficient. He has people flying in from all around the world, Brazil, South America, Brazil, yeah, like crazy places, man, like France, like crazy places all over the world was just flying in. A new member of a guest team was coming in like every day, and I was just, wow, like fucking like, and these people's work were incredible back then, do you know what I mean? So there was an Italian guy, I can't remember his name now, it's very Italian, but he's a very, very good color portrait artist. And he I remember him doing I was in Denmark at the time, and he was there doing it was like a Terminator portrait with the cigar in the mouth, and I was just like, wow, like it looked incredible, absolutely incredible. And there's like all these artists that I was just learning from, just taking tips really early on. So I kind of progressed my career super quickly than I thought I was going to, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking give it all away on YouTube. I thought, why not? Because I think I then I tried to get a job in a studio, and they said no, because my work wasn't as good as his, or whatever he said. It was such a dickhead comment, and I was like, wow, okay. And I had this determination to like be better than him, because he'd said that to me, which is super like weird, but I was like 22, 23 at the time. I was young, so I had that kind of drive to be better than him, and it just, well, it worked for one, but I was just like, and then it was funny because I think two or 3 years went by, and I was doing all right for myself, and I was a tattooist full time by this point, and he messaged me, and he was like, hey dude, there's a spot in the studio, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, bro. But that kind of gave me a satisfaction, but by that point I didn't care. But it was just one of them, man. Like I always want to I just want to give people advice now, and I think I set the movement. I'm gonna be humble about this, but I think I was the first one to do this, and I think I set the whole movement off for like online courses and stuff like this, man. I did. I made people. I made the industry, and big people as well, like Bishop. Big people have said this to me as well. That they've said, I appreciate what you've done, like for the industry, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, how do I take that? But I've recently kind of thought about it, and it's because I think I kickstarted the whole giving people help off. I think I kickstarted the industry to go into a new direction, and you know, the old school people won't like it, and I've got, you know, a lot of abuse before, but I definitely think I've helped pave the way for new people coming in and giving them so much information early on, which is good because now it's an encyclopedia of information that you can go and get. And when I started, the reason I did this channel, the way I started, there was nothing. There was literally nothing. There was no YouTube channels, only Lil B's, but he didn't talk about his techniques. He was just doing vlogs and stuff. It was literally nothing. There was nothing going on. And that was eight years ago. So relatively short time. And within these eight years I've been doing this, everyone's now just it makes me so happy. I want to cry, man. It makes me so happy that so many people are now spreading their their knowledge. And I know there's money to make off of it and stuff and courses and stuff like that. I get that, and there's people that have been that have definitely overpriced what they're selling and stuff. But obviously there's years and years of information that you've collected and I've collected, and to ask a small amount of money for a lifetime worth of a craft is priceless in my opinion. Yeah, so there you go. That was a bit of a story. Do you think you'll ever go back to using color again? Nah. I mean, I never really used. What's your pricing per session? I'm £800 a day. There you go. It's live now. I'm £800 a session. I can normally get a lot more done on the second session, but yeah, book 2 days and you basically got half a sleeve from me. So there you go. It's out there. Thank you for meshing me back. And I think that's cheap as well, by the way, for a place like London. And most people are tattooing excess of £1,000. That are like decent level. Thank you for meshing me back on Instagram. No worries, Christian. Sorry if I miss, just spam me in my DMs if I miss your message. I will pick it up. Don't you think that some quadrant mags, especially the smallers, are too opened? Do you know what? I know exactly what you're meaning. Yeah. So instead of them being like this, they're like this, and it's annoying. It is annoying, but I feel like you need to angle. It allows you to do. Well, no, that's pounds, £800. So whatever that is in dollars, what, $1,600, maybe $1,500, maybe even $1,000. I don't know. You're underselling yourself for sure. I don't know, man. Like, I was cheaper than that before the Lil B podcast. So there you go. Lil B made me put my price up. That's a quote there. Lil B made me put my price up. Tattooing for a year now, always been looking up to you since I started tattooing. But do you know what, guys? I'm not really in it for the money either. Like, as long as I can live a comfortable life and, I can pay for my flat, I can pay for my studio, and I can pay for my car and my phone. That's and my daughter, obviously. I've got a kid. As long as I can do that, I'm sweet. I don't need a Lamborghini on the drive. I don't need a fucking... I don't know. I don't need a mansion with 7 rooms. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sweet, man. As long as I've got food, clothes on my back, a roof, I'm fucking cool. And I can travel to see my daughter. I'm sweet. Shout out to the podcast, bro. No worries, Des. Thank you for that comment, Des. The info we get from them is just priceless. Mate, I'm so glad. I was gonna quit as well. The next episode of the podcast is coming out on the 14th of September. Keep an eye out for that. Don Brown, massive artist here in the UK, huge. He's making moves with his style. He was one of the first people to check it out on my Instagram as well, and on the Instagram page of the Incredible podcast, because you'll see examples of his work in the promotional thing. And oh man, his contrast he gets is crazy. It's crazy. Are you going back to the shader? Will you ever use dynamic again? Yeah, I'm using dynamic now, Henry, bro. Bishop One shader. Yeah. I've been using the Bishop shader for the last couple of tattoos. I'm gonna go back to the Acus because I love the Acus so much, and I miss using it. In all honesty, I miss it. But yeah, I've spoken to a few people about it that's used the Acus a lot longer than me, and they're saying to set it up in a way that's quite similar to the shader. So it's just the setup, because it's in hertz and not volts. It's different for me. I don't really know how to use it in a sense, like in difficult situations like red skin and stuff like that. I wouldn't know how to use it. It's $936. Wow. Well, that's what I am a day. Crazy. In America. Mad. Wow. I mean, the pound to US dollar rate is crap, isn't it? So there you go. It'd be interesting to know what my work is worth over there, though. How much would my work be over there? Those of you that are in America, how much would my work be? So Lozzie P says, how often do you go live? Sorry, Melly Mel, I have seen that a couple of times, but my mind's just crazy. What, live like this, like talking or tattoos? Because I go, depends on what I've got on and how my client wants. It's it's definitely like nearly every day. Honestly, 2,500, 3,000, bro. Really? Wow, that's incredible. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. $1,600 a day is normal price. Like this, I used to do this every two times a week, but I rarely do it now. But if you want to see these lives more often, if you want like a weekly chat, we can do that. I'm easy for that. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy speaking to you lot, man. You know, I'm at your disposal. So there you go. Logic P says, I've learned so much from watching you and following you along yours and other artists' videos. The best artists are always learning and growing, striving to improve their craft. Yeah, 7 years in and love my job. Exactly. We're all on the same. We're all on the same path, man. Like I feel like a lot of other YouTubers and stuff like that. I don't really tend to watch other YouTubers anyway, but a lot of them are like, yeah, this is how you do it. Blah blah blah. There's definitely room for improvement. I'm all open ears. I've changed. If I change something I'm doing, I'll tell you guys, which is why I'm doing this today. Please smash that like button. 87 people watching, 56 likes. Let's try and get this up to 100 likes. That'd be awesome. Then I can carry on doing these if you wanna do these more often. Yeah, $2,000 a day. Wow, that's crazy. I have a strange question for you. I am on the way to another world. Oh man, Frank, I've bowel cancer. Anyway, my kids want to get a tattoo with some of my ashes as well. Sorry to hear that, by the way. My granddad passed away of that. It's not good. But yeah, my thoughts are with you, Frank B. I'm not sure about ashes though. I don't tend to do that because anything that you put into a sterile ink, I don't think is good. I think it obviously when you put something into the ink, it's not going to dissolve. It's going to change the consistency of the ink. So I wouldn't personally do it. But there's definitely other ways to commemorate a situation, and I think a portrait is probably the biggest thing for that. In my opinion, you know, I know my parents aren't going to last forever, and when something does happen, because it will, that's what life is. It happens. We're not all going to live forever, and I think portraits are the best thing. That's what I would do. But yeah, I hope you're good, man, mentally, and I hope the family's cool. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Mr. Reyes works out here and he charges $2,500 a day. And I haven't seen his work for a long time, maybe a year, but when I looked at his work, it's pretty average to me, in a sense that I wasn't like beefing him out there, but in like style wise, that's like he does a lot of work very similar. I think I'm quite similar as well, to be honest. You know, like I would say me and him do kind of like average stuff. Do you know what I mean? No worries, Frank, man. Marco Escobar, no worries. Big fan, thanks for the content. No worries, mate. Isaac, is it possible to tattoo my name on your head? Bloody hell, mate. Prime Inc. Hey, from Germany. I could fly and get 2 days of work done cheaper than 2 days here in the States. It's crazy, Darren. Yeah, do you know what? Actually, someone's coming over. I can't remember who it is, but someone's coming over from America to get tattooed here. And now I know why. Now I know why. It's crazy. Wow. Here in the UK, though, like £800 a day is a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. It depends on what you have, but I guess it's like different exchange rates, you know, economy. It's all different. Henry, man, you've helped us all so much, honestly, bro. Thank you very much for that comment, mate. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Eye Shine Ink. Do you know what? I'm going to say this. I think he's better than Mr. Ayers. I do. I like how I like his design element of his sleeves, because I think his sleeves work they flow together quite well. I like how I like the placement he uses. I think he achieves a really smooth tattoo. I think a lot of people that do that kind of work do lack a bit of detail, though. That's the only thing that separates them from like elite tattooers like the Ralph Normweiler and stuff like that, and David Vega. They have such a distinct style that they get so much detail in, especially Thomas Carly Harlier as well. I feel like, yeah, I think the more detail you get into a piece, the more it stands out, but you still need to achieve the smooth shading within that. What needle is that being used? It is a 7 curve mag quadrant Sublime needle. It's the Sublime needle. Thank you for the likes on the video, guys, by the way. You can easily make that money in the US, but yeah, do you know what? I'm coming over to the US next year, so I'm going to go to the embassy here, the US embassy in London here, around Christmas time. So I should be there next year for sure. So keep an eye out on my Instagram for the announcement of that. I'll be coming over to LA first. I'll be there for 3 months, hopefully. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, another thing, Damien just reminded me, have you stopped using green soap until towards the end of the tattoo? Notice much difference in redness from light tones? What's your experience from adapted to different skin types? Yeah, that's a really good question, dude. So yeah, since the David Vega podcast, I stopped using green soap. I just use distilled water. I actually use Smart Water. It's a water brand here in the UK. I think you might even have it over there. But it's a brand of water. It's distilled water, and it's got electrolytes in it, and that's what I use to wipe my client's skin down. Super clean, super fresh. Yeah, I don't use green soap. Yeah, I don't use green soap. Yeah, we have it. That's what I use, Smart Water. I use Smart Water. I go and buy a Smart Water from the shop and wipe it down with that. That's it. Christian Ray Fruity says, can I message you about booking details? Yeah, man. If I can save money to fly to you and get 2 days, I'll do that. Yeah, man, that's cool. Robert Foes, from Loco Tattoos, how about Robert Foe? He's sick. Robert Foe's unbelievable. If it's the same guy I'm thinking of, he is incredible. He gets a lot of detail in his work as well, and it's nice and smooth. I'm going to stay on for 10 minutes, guys, so I'm going to try and do an hour. 74 likes, thank you very much. Coffee's going cold. What's my coffee? I get a, here you go, it's on the label. I get a latte, skinny latte, 3 signature espressos, 1 skimmed milk, 1 sugar-free caramel syrup. There you go. It's my Lipta. But yeah, so I will be coming over to the States next year. Definitely. I know I've been saying that for a while, but COVID and stuff. You don't have to have the. Do you still have to have the COVID passports to travel? Oh, you're just watching the. Yeah, you're watching the ink being laid in. This is the drag back, David Vega technique. Drag back, nice and slow. There you go. What was that? I can't remember what I said. Oh, you don't. Yeah, you don't need COVID passports anymore. That's decent. Lovely. So the techniques I've used in this is I'm just layering it up. I'm not going too crazy. It looks like I'm so erratic. When I look back at my tattoo and I'm like, wow, I'm so erratic, but I'm not in the moment. I'm not. It's weird. I'm just using the drag back a lot. I'm still using a pendulum swing as well. The brush motion. This is another drag back. I do definitely use that a lot now. A lot more than I did. A lot more than I did. I feel like we're all watching me tattoo. It's hilarious. I haven't watched this back either, so it's funny. See how slow my hand movement is. And that's the one thing David Vega was saying as well in his podcast is when he slowly drags it back, you've got that, you can see the mag lines. And then you go over it in a different way and it eliminates the mag lines because you've got a crosshatch. And then I just like feather in some more things. Your hand movement is like Robert Foe. Ah, that's good to know. Robert Foe's sick. He's signed to Bishop, I believe, isn't he? Pardon me. Henry Jeptha says, have you been more patient in doing your tattoos after? Yes. Yeah. Have you ever done a portrait of Bob Marley? Do you know what? A funny. Oh God. Sorry. Funny question. Funny story. When I went to Denmark, I was what's going on, Alazar Ale? Oh, you retracted it. When I went to Denmark for the first time, I was just doing dot work, and I've just got a message on Instagram from Christian. It pops up on my phone, so I can have a look. Was gonna say, yeah, when I went to Denmark, I actually did a Bob Marley dot work portrait on some black guy out there. I can't remember his name. I wish I remembered his name. It was years and years ago, but yeah, I did a dot work. It wasn't. Looking back at it now, I'm like, I'm not. Ethiopia, from Ethiopia, is that? Big up Ethiopia. You can see this technique here now. Drag back. You can see how smooth that is. Just layering it up, turning the needle slightly, just going back over it. Just to look at that smoothness. Can I zoom in? Oh! Not that far. No, I'm not zooming in. I'm not zooming into my face this morning. It's probably the afternoon now. But yeah, that's how I've been working, man. I've definitely... How often do you get downtime, bro? Or is it 24/7? Nah. Yeah, so you can see like my lips fucking, I've got cold sores and shit, man. Like, I'm quite run down right now. I went out at the weekend to a festival, like a local festival where where I DJ'd at, and my friend DJ'd there as well. Yeah, I've just been. That was a bit of that downtime. I'm going to the big Tattoo London convention this weekend. So if you want to stop and chat, let me know. Stop me if you see me. It'd be cool to talk with some people if you're out here for the London big tattoo show. But yeah, so I don't tattoo 24/7. I tend to take weekends off. I'll work a Saturday if I'm in demand, because then Sundays are my downtime. I get to see my daughter. So the past couple of weeks I haven't, just because I've been busy with commitments. But yeah, this weekend I'll definitely be going. And they've been ill as well. They've had this sickness, this stomach bug thing going around. So I don't really want that. Have you ever regretted a tattoo you've done? I don't think I've regretted anything I've done really, because it's all part of the journey of learning, you know. There was a time where I used to rush tattoos. This was years and years ago, because I was frustrated and I didn't enjoy it anymore. I stopped enjoying tattooing. I wanted to quit. I was actually looking for other work. I was looking to go into like a normal job. I can't now because I started to tattoo my face, but yeah, I started to go into like looking at normal jobs and stuff like that, and yeah. I mean, that was probably 5-6 years ago. But yeah, now I mean, every tattoo I do, I definitely learn from. Right, guys, I am going to go. I'm tattooing a neck tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to go live for that. What motivated you to keep going? That was from Rashid Davis. So that's a good question to end on. What kept me motivated was looking up to other people, following other people, going to shows, seeing the vibe, getting back into more of the culture. A lot of my friends at the time weren't into this tattoo culture as well, so I felt like I was on my own a bit. I stopped working in a studio. I worked on my own then. I just moved to a studio on my own. I wasn't around creative people. I feel like creative people need to be with other creative people to get them the most out of their creative brain, their creativity. And I felt when I moved, I definitely felt a difference in my motivation. Thank you for the likes on the video, guys. We nearly hit 100. Nearly hit 100. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like just once you start, it's like going to the gym. This is a good analogy. It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym, you might not see any progress after a week. You're like, oh, fuck this. You know, fuck this. But it takes time. It takes time. Tattooing takes time to learn. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice. And I needed to cut people off that I needed to cut off, and I did, in order for me to grow as a person. So I cut a lot of people off that I didn't feel like that they were kind of holding me back. Now it's Joe Rogan. Here we go. But anyway, guys, yeah. So I cut a lot of people off, and yeah, I don't know, man. Like just felt as though as soon as I started getting better, like the gym analogy, as soon as you start seeing progress, you start to like it. You're like, okay, yeah, cool. Okay, it's taken me this much time to show a bit of progress in my work. But looking back at your old work over the space of 2-3 months is definitely a good thing to do, even a month. And there's going to be some tattoos you're like, oh, you know, I didn't perform as well as I did yesterday. But there's so many factors to that. You know, it's like from day to day, I'm like, okay, that was sick. That was a new level up. That was sick. And then the next day, you're working with someone with crazy skin, and you're like, okay, was it me? Was it? And it's probably not you because you're tattooed exactly the same. It's just the skin, the canvas you're working on. You know, we have to work on a canvas that constantly changes from person to person. And I believe, you know, skin is a canvas that stretches, it bleeds, it goes red, it tans. It's never the same from person to person. So you just need to bear that in mind and don't be too hard on yourself, because I definitely have been hard over the space of, you know, when I first, within the first 5 years I was tattooing 100%. The last 3 or 4 years I've been doing this, I've definitely calmed down, definitely learned to accept the journey. And it can get like, my mind is very unique where I just get so lost and muddled in a load of questions on what I should be and shouldn't be doing. And I think, you know, it will sort itself out eventually. But yeah, that got deep. Got deep. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining, for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Let me know if you want to, let me know in the comment section underneath the video when the live stopped. If you want another one of these, I can do these weekly. I can set like a Saturday night or something. Yeah, we can do this again sometime for sure. Thank you for the likes on the video. Thank you for the support as always. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep grinding and don't be too hard on yourself.